What's up, guys? It's KB. Make sure you subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Click the bell icon down below so you don't miss a single video from us. And thanks for tuning in to another video from Underground Sports Philadelphia. Now let's get into it.
Philadelphia, baby, you're going to love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
What is going on, OTB Nation? Welcome into episode number 235 of the allegedly award-nominated, number 9 ranked Word to Trevor Baptiste and Matty Rambo, and of course viewable on YouTube Outside the Box podcast, part of the Underground Sports Philadelphia podcast network. It's KB and Deej coming at you from Underground Studios. Got a lot to dive into because you sickos wouldn't subscribe to the YouTube channel. We didn't get an early episode in, but hey, them's be the breaks. That means you got a loaded episode. Y'all probably gonna bitch and complain. It's gonna be like 2 hours to listen to, but hey, we out here. We're gonna dive into PLL Seattle, wrapping up the regular season of the PLL already, which is crazy to think about. And we're gonna get into all that juiciness that is NLL free agency. And who knows? These West Coast teams like to operate on demon time, so we might get breaking news as we record this late Thursday night into Friday morning, so stay tuned. But before we get started, make sure you guys are following us on the socials at OTB LaxPod on Twitter, on Instagram. Follow DJ on Twitter at SCS_NextGreat. Follow me at KBIZZL311. Check out the website, undergroundsportsphiladelphia.com, for all of our written content. Subscribe to the podcast feed, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. We are there. Subscribe. Leave those 5-star ratings and reviews on Apple and Spotify. It goes a long way with helping more people find the show, helping us hit the algorithm, and get on those motherfucking charts. You feel me? And, of course, subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. We're on that hashtag road to 1K, currently at 221 YouTube subscribers. Once we get to 250, DJ and I implement the OTB halftime shows. Just saying, you could get one this weekend. You could get a halftime show this weekend. You could get a halftime show live from Boston. You could get a halftime show live from DC. All you gotta do is subscribe to the YouTube channel. Search Underground Sports Philadelphia. Smash that like button. Ring the bell icon so you don't miss a single episode of all your favorite Underground Sports Philadelphia shows. And, of course, comment down below your thoughts on your team heading into the final week of the PLL regular season, your thoughts on NLL free agency and the madness that has been, 4 days in now? It's been absolutely bonkos. And anything else that comes to mind. Leave us Mountain Dew recommendations, hashtag not a sponsor, but maybe tag Mountain Dew in the comments section. Tell them to sponsor us. I don't know. Maybe. We're trying to do it. And, of course, share the channel with your people. Shout out to our sponsors who make this show happen. Tomahawk Shades. I think they might just be on vacation, Deej. Because I continue to send them emails, and I'd be like Peter Griffin reprising the Wilson episode of Family Guy because I don't get anything. So I'm going to try again tomorrow and see what they say, because Deej has plenty of sunnies and plenty of blue light glasses just lost to the mail right now, and we need to get him his product because he's got to be styling and profiling when we head to Massachusetts for the quarterfinals of the PLL postseason. We will officially be there. We got our expensive ass fucking hotel booked. We are going to be there, and hopefully we are not recreating opening weekend 2021, because then you might just see me on the news, okay?
And hopefully I make it to my plane home on time. I can take my luggage with me without missing my original flight.
Still chilling at the crib. All your luggage. At least you don't got to check a bag.
Hey, I'll
on your way here.
On my way there, I'm not complaining. It's a smooth ride.
You're not flying into an airport hangar.
No, flying out
actual
of it.
Airport.
Flying out of it, but hey, or not flying out of it. Actually,
avoiding the hangar this time.
Avoiding the hangar. But yeah, might have to pull up at Tomahawk HQ. Like,
Yeah, come on, boys. What are we doing?
Y'all can just hand me my stuff.
Y'all can just send it to my house, and it'll be here.
I should have did that from the beginning.
It's so wild. Everybody I know that orders that's like outside of New York and New Jersey always has an issue with shipping. But if you order, like Mac got his prescription lens ones a few weeks ago, I've gotten mine no problem. It's the weirdest thing. So if you work for mail delivery services, step your game up. But you guys can go.
If they'll give me the same price, I'll just reorder, and if they can find a way to cancel and give me my money back, we'll be in there.
Facts.
We'll be all good.
Go to tomahawkshades.com. Use code USP for 25% off your order at tomahawkshades.com. Kenwood Beer, Deej, we're going to have plenty of Kennies. Plenty of Kennies the next 3 weeks of the postseason. You guys can go to kenwoodbeer.com. Use that Kenny tracker to see who's got Kenwood Beer on tap in the Philadelphia area. You got to be 21 or older to do so. And, of course, please drink responsibly. And an early birthday gift announced for Deej. He texted me. He's getting that custom Bino board from our pals over at Bino. You guys can do the same. Go to binoboard.com. They got that brand new Gila Monster board in stock. That thing is thangin'. And you can get your boards, accessories, apparel, merch, all that good stuff at binoboard.com. Just use code BINOUSP at checkout for 10% off your order at binoboard.com. What's poppin', Deej?
Living life, man. Working every day. Enjoying. Going to see a couple of the homies for moving weekend. Because as I live the busy life, I do not know how often I'll be able to go see them. I do know I'm seeing Coach Nat later this year. The boys over at Ohio Northern are playing my alma mater, so I'm going to go catch that game, whether it's in Ohio or here in Michigan. I'm going to go either way.
You do have a little bit of stakes on the line in that game.
I do. I already – I have to wear some Ohio Northern stuff if Adrian loses, and we got to figure something out for Coach Nat because he said he won't wear anything, Adrian. And I understand. Like, he's got a job, and I won't make him lose his job. So we'll figure that out.
Speaking of Nat St. Laurent and the rest of the PLL, let's quickly recap PLL Salt Lake City, DJ's favorite city in the entire continental U.S.
Gave us some good lacrosse games, so I will not complain about that.
Damn good lacrosse games. That is faux show. To recap the matchups from last week in case you missed them, Whipsnakes absolutely demolished, chewed, and spit out whole the Atlas 16-8. Redwoods beat Water Dogs 14-12. Archers beat Chaos 11-8. And Chrome beat Cannons 11-9. Your boy had a 4-0 week in picks. Felt good to get above 500 for the first time all year.
I was this close, too. I wasn't even upset with my pick or my loss. I was like, I'll take a 3-1 weekend. I've mostly been 2-2 or 0-4 this year, so I'll take a 3-1. And also, I mean, the game was super close, and I was like, it really could have gone either way. I could have snuck one out and gone 4-0, so, like, I'm not mad at it. Great game. I mean, unbelievable.
Unreal weekend. Atlas just can't beat Whipsnakes, so for you bettors out there, for you pick'em people out there, if that matchup ever scrolls across your timeline, you already know who to pick. Atlas just looks terrible against them. This year, the Whipsnakes defense, if you want to count that late 2-bomb by Chris Gray in terms of, semantics, it did count on the scoreboard, obviously, but 15 goals total that Atlas scored against Whipsnakes this year. Whipsnakes scored 16 in one game against them, which is tied for the most points in a single game Whipsnakes have scored in franchise history. They also did it back in 2019, I believe it was, when I was looking through during the press conferences. But Whipsnakes looked all the part of dominant, of being the number one seed. They locked that up. They will be the one seed going into the playoffs. They earned it. That's for sure. They've earned it this year. They've played consistent lacrosse. They've just gone out there. Shout out to Brian, hit singles, and just played whip snakes ball. And it's worked to a T outside of that one loss to the Water Dogs, who I think they just caught the Water Dogs at the worst possible time. But Atlas have kind of fallen from grace a bit since the All-Star break.
Well, starting with the whips, it's your boy KB. You know, he's a big reason why they're doing so well. You know, he had a slump last year, but like, I mean, it's not even relevant at this point to even bring it up. He's played at an unreal level this year. I mean, I don't even know how many saves he had this weekend, but I know he had 30 fantasy points, which means he had a lot of them. And I mean, if you win 17-6, that means you had a lot of them. And then this defense in front of him has been. It's hard to say, but somehow they have gotten better every year. And
Burnlord had 18 saves,
which is a lot.
Saved 72% of his shots he faced.
Unreal. And then, like I said, it's so hard to say and believe that their defense has gotten better every year, but they do. They get better every year.
They have a new defensive coordinator this year. Let's not forget that. P.T. Ritchie took over, first-year D coordinator.
And it doesn't even look like they're taking a step back. Like, they're just playing at an elite level. And when your defense and goalie play that well, it doesn't matter if you have a shaky face-off guy or if which they don't, or if your offense isn't that great, which it is. Those things will work themselves out because your defense isn't letting up goals. It's easy to win a game when you only got to put up 7. My high school team could win a game right now if all we had to put up was 7. I guarantee it. That just means we're having the ball more. We'll take more shots. We'll score more goals. But like, you're telling a professional team they have to put up 7 goals, and they're gonna they could do that in their sleep. It's so easy and so nonchalant for the offense to play because of how well the defense plays. That's what you want your team to look like. Atlas, I mean, just don't play the whips. That's what you're hoping for. You're hoping to not play the whips.
Whips won this game with Trevor finally getting the best of Joe Nardella.
Yes.
That's the crazy part.
I don't see it as crazy because of what I just mentioned. Like, the defense for the whips is so stellar. Like, the offense would have had to really show up. And
I'm just saying from an Atlas perspective in terms of just like possessions.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, they had them, but they threw them away.
Right.
How many turnovers did they have? Almost 20. Like, can't play the whips and throw the ball over that many times. Like, you're going to lose.
Yeah.
No matter who you have at the face-off X, no matter who you have taking shots, if you're turning it over almost 20 times, you're gonna lose.
They had 16 turnovers. Whipsnakes had 15. So the turnover game was like relatively even.
But look at the defenses, right?
Right.
I mean, not like Atlas has a bad defense, but if you're turning it over 16 times on the Whipsnakes defense and giving them the ball 16 times, like, half of those are goals. Literally,
here's the wild
at least
part.
Half.
Face-offs, Trevor doubled up Joe, 18-9. Jack Kincannon did not have a bad game.
Nope.
He had 17 saves in this game. Like,
So
the defense left him. The Atlas defense left Jack Kincannon out to dry.
Yep.
Tough.
And that's tough.
Scene.
That's tough to see. Tough to say. Like, that's not what you want to see 2 weeks before you head into playoffs.
Nope.
Granted, I guess it's really 3, but still, like, that's not ideal.
Great. Shout out to Diggs. Redwoods beat Water Dogs 14-12. Good win for the Redwoods there. Much needed win. They snapped the Water Dogs just hottest hot streak. And that game was a late one, to say the least. The midnight oil was burning, but Redwoods look really good in this game. Unfortunately, lose Eddie Glazner in this one with a partially torn Achilles. I went to injury expert, a.k.a. the OG, my dad, who, for the people that don't know, is a physical therapist assistant and a wound care specialist When I told him that Eddie Glazner had a partially torn Achilles, he said he should not be rushing back from that. He should take his time, because if he does tear it completely, he's never going to be the same type of player, simply because it's going from a partially torn to a fully torn. Then they're going to have to take that muscle, kind of like reconnect it basically. Because I asked him about, we were talking the KD type situation where, yes, KD is shifty, but on hardwood, and it's kind of a different type of thing where Eddie Glazner's got to be shifty on turf, on grass, with spikes on. It's a much different thing, especially, planting wise and everything like that.
Yep.
Glaze, if you're listening, I love you. I want to see you out there. You're the general of the defense. Don't rush back from this. I would much rather Eddie Glazner rehab, do what he has to do to be 100% healthy, actually 110% healthy for training camp, or whenever, that timeline lines up for him to be back, than him try to force himself back for the postseason, risk that re-injury because of how quickly, the injury happened to when the playoffs happen. I don't want to see Eddie Glazner risk his career for one playoff run that you don't know how long it's going to last.
Chris Collins, Nat St. Laurent. Do not let this man play. It's literally that simple. Do I want to see him play? Do I want to see the Woods win? Do I want a championship? Yes, absolutely. But it is not worth it.
No.
Call Matt Landis, sign Resetti, move Finn Sullivan down. I don't care what you do.
Finn played great in the
I thought he played great.
Reserve role for Eddie.
I don't care what you do, but do not play Eddie Glazner in the playoff game.
No.
It's not a good idea.
Not worth it.
But in other news, the Water Dogs can't beat the Woods.
The math be mathin'.
3-0.
3-0 lifetime.
Woods are 3-0. And all the games are like 2 goals. I think this is the second time the score is 14-12. I think it was 14-12 last time they played too. Out in Long Island last year.
I think that game was a little bit higher, actually. I think
it might have been like 17-15, maybe.
I think it was 19-16, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah. Maybe the first one was 14-12.
Which would have been in the bubble. Let me pull up.
Yep.
I'll pull that up. But this was a very fun game. Like, this was, I think, the best game of the weekend in terms of just, like, energy, in terms of back and forth. Rob Pennell had unbelievable turn the clock back a couple years type game where you and DJ saved Rob Pennell and the Redwood season.
Most of them don't even know because no one was there. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was just me, you, Joe Keegs, and possibly Tommy Birch.
No, it was somebody else.
No,
because it was North Carolina.
Else.
It was Charlotte. So it was either...
It might have been Kevin Brown.
It was either Kevin Brown, Austin Owens, or Matt Kinnear.
Mm-hmm.
Or somebody that writes for the league. Or something. Maybe Sarah.
It might have been that one guy we don't like talking about.
It might have been Sarah, actually.
Ooh. Might have to ask. Or was it Lauren?
I forget. I don't know if Lauren... I think Lauren started popping in the week after, because I know she was at Long Island.
Yeah.
Because she's from New York. It might have been Sarah. Because it was somebody who didn't have their camera on or ask anything. Which I know Sarah does because she's writing, so she's just like taking notes like vigorously of everything going on.
Really good notes, too.
Yes. Go read her Kira McCardle article
beautiful.
that she put out, because it's great to finally see our boy getting the recognition he deserves. I just pulled up Woods Water Dog scores. This is the closest score it's ever been.
Oh.
Bubble, it was 11-8, which was first round of the playoffs,
Yeah.
if you want to call it that. And then last year, Long Island, it was 19-16. Only reason I remember that is because that's when I asked Nat about RP3 and American Ninja Warrior. Great game. I enjoyed this one a lot. Felt like a playoff game, which was fun. Kind of get that energy and that atmosphere for both teams, I think is really, really good for them. TD looked great, which was much needed in a situation like that. And both teams, I think, are going to be formidable opponents in the postseason. Might even run into each other, depending on how Seattle goes. Archers Chaos. Is this a rivalry? Is this
I think so.
officially booked?
I think it is. I think it was booked last year. I think just everything that
I thought last year was like the start, and now
I just think like after being, I think what separated us in terms of looking at it as a start versus like being one was I was there in Salt Lake, and that game felt like a rivalry. Like you could feel like when they came in, you were like, oh, like these teams, like they like not like they don't like each other, but like you can tell
they don't like each other
here. But like yeah, like after the game, I totally was like, oh, these like during the game, I'd say maybe 5 minutes in, I was like, oh, these motherfuckers do not like each other at all. No one out here likes the person across from them. Like This is a battle.
I think the only person from either of these, like the only like mutual like friendship, is Connor Fields.
Yeah.
Because they had the close-ups all game on Connor and Troy Ray, and those boys, I thought they were gonna kiss each other on the cheek.
We're just talking.
I thought they were gonna kiss, and I wanted it to happen so bad. I wanted them to play it up for that camera in their face and just right on the cheek. That would have been so cute.
Yeah, he had all his Buffalo boys there as well.
Little Albany boys.
Other than that, like
there ain't nothing there. They hate each other.
Nothing there. But like, yeah, you could feel it there in Salt Lake, and I was like, oh, this is legit a rivalry. Like, and there aren't too many rivalries yet established in the PLL, but that is 100%.
Booking it. That's the number 2 rivalry in the entire league. All sparked by Ian McKay and Connor Fields. Thanks, boys.
I was happy to see Ian back out there.
Yes.
By the way, I don't know if they listened to us or not last week, but the boy 55 was out in the field. Nice to see a champ.
Yes. Archers win this one 11-8. Did the damn thing. Got the job done. Tommy Schreiber had himself an afternoon. Ryan Ambler played very well. And this was a game where they needed them to, because the offense was kind of getting locked down a little bit, and the midfield stepped up for the Archers. That just shows you the levels. Shout out to Michael Sowers, the layers, if you will, of this Archers team that Tom Schreiber's talked about, where they finally have the depth behind the pieces in place, and they can go out and they can, if some guys are struggling, other guys are going to step up and play well. And they did just that. And Chaos still alive in the postseason hunt, even though they lost. They got to take care of business this weekend. That's their biggest thing. They got to win, and they'll be in the postseason. But good win for the Archers, much needed win. It helped them in terms of just controlling their fate in the standings. They're now 5-4 with a 16 score differential. Got their score differential a little bit closer to Chrome, so if Chrome drops this weekend, Archers could jump into that number 2 spot overall for the playoffs. But good win for the Archers. Good to see their midfield performing. And Chaos, time is ticking. You got one game left. Got to figure something out if you want to try to at least have a shot at defending your title.
My thing with this game was, one, it was nice to see the Archers win again. They mentioned that a lot. And it was nice to see. I have a little more confidence in their offense. I don't know what was the hesitation in going to the midfielders offensively. All of them are capable. Matt Moore, Connor DeSimone, Tom
Connor
Schreiber,
Fields.
Ryan Ambler, list goes on. There's no reason not to be able to turn to them and initiate through them, but they were so hesitant to do it. Like, you could tell the offense was explicitly set to run through the attack and to get them going first and to work off of that. So when that wasn't there, they just didn't want to do it. So it was nice to see them actually go to the midfield and let them work and then let the attack work off of them, which here we go. I'll give the people it's the vice versa of what saved Rob Pennell in the Woods. I asked him in his press conference, I was like, when is this attack group going to help out the midfielders? I was like, it's a lot of dodging from up top with Jules and Miles and those guys. It's not really working right now, and the attack isn't doing much to help. I was like, when do you guys decide to kind of take it upon yourselves, or are you guys sticking to the game plan? And Rob's like, no, like, we 100% need to, recognize that and do more and this and that. And look at where we are. We're approaching 5-5 possibly. Don't say I saved them, but hey, maybe.
You don't want to be saved.
So it was nice to see the Archers pop back and use their entire team and moving into the playoffs sets them into a nice spot. Chaos I'm extremely worried about in terms of, for most of this year, you could hear the hope and optimism in their voices and press conferences and talking to them, in between games or after games or whatever. That was gone in this last press conference. It was anger. It was frustration. It was confusion. It was what the fuck. You could just hear it from everybody from AT to any player you talk to. Like, they were genuinely frustrated and confused about what's going on, and that's concerning. Do I think they're still going to make the playoffs? Yes, because I don't think the Cannons are in a position to catch them, even if they both lose or both win. I don't think the goal differential is in a position. Cannons have to win. They have a tough matchup. Don't see that really happening, and they would need the Chaos to lose as well. So I think Chaos get in, but it's not a scenario on problem.
Cannons got a little lucky, even though they lost. The goal differential isn't that insurmountable, where it's a 3-goal differential separating them and Chaos, and that's the number one tiebreaker, unfortunately for them. So Cannons somehow find a way.
They gotta win.
They gotta win, but they are playing a team that doesn't have that much to play for right now. They have a chance to rest some guys potentially and not play them the entire game. Playing for pride, if you will. But the Cannons lose to Chrome 11-9. Chrome lock in a championship series ticket. They're going to the championship series with the Whipsnakes. They are currently in second place, sitting at 6-3. They looked great for most of this game. Even though it was close, it was one of those things where it felt like Chrome just kind of had control of the situation 80% of the game.
Yeah, it was a tough game. It wasn't like Cannons weren't in it or their offense didn't have anything going. Defense didn't look terrible, but like, it just was, like you said, a controlled game in terms of the Chrome. Like, they just had control of the game. Things were going their way most of the time. They were able to keep pace of the game the way they wanted to. When they wanted it fast, it was fast. When they wanted it slow, it was slow. It's hard to win a game when another team is controlling it. And for the situation the Cannons were in, I thought they played a great game and gave themselves a really good shot of winning. They just couldn't get it done and didn't really have a 2-point threat at the end of the game to tie it and push it into, an overtime scenario.
100%. Cannons still haven't won since week 1. Look at the standings right now. Going into Seattle, this is what we're dealing with, people. This is what we're looking at. We have Whipsnakes at the top of the table. They will be the 1 seed in the playoffs. They have that first round bye. Apologies to people going to Boston thinking you were going to see the Whips. You're not going to see them. Go catch them in D.C. and potentially Philly. Chrome sitting in second place. Oddly enough, Deej, Chrome and Whipsnakes have scored the same number of points this year, 107. Chrome sit at 6-3. Archers at 5-4, kind of in the driver's seat of their own destiny. They have a chance to clinch a championship series spot this weekend as well with a 16 score differential. Atlas at 5-4. Their score differential got screwed quite a bit because of that matchup with the Whips. They are now at an 8 score differential. Got cut in half. They're at 5-4 as well. Water Dogs at 5-4 with a 1 score differential. Redwood sitting at 4-5 with a -9 score differential. Take out that Chrome game earlier this year, and the Redwoods are at an even 0 score differential. Chaos at 2-7. They're at a -24 score differential, and Cannons at 1-8, still alive in the playoff hunt at a -27 score differential. And the only updates here are that the Woods are in the playoffs, the Water Dogs are in, obviously, Atlas, Archers, Chrome, Whips. So we're waiting on that final playoff spot, and Chrome, like I said, clinched a spot in the championship series. So 2 spots in the championship series up for grabs this weekend, 2 spots in the air for the playoffs with only 1 spot left. We'll see how that plays out. But let's preview this Seattle weekend, each final regular season matchup of 2022 out in Seattle. The schedule looks like this. It's Chrome versus Redwoods, kicking things off on Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Archers versus Water Dogs at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Whipsnakes versus Cannons at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. And then Atlas versus Chaos to round out the weekend and the regular season at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time. It's going to be a wild weekend, especially on Sunday.
Yeah, I'm excited for this. I'm excited Saturday, Sunday, not Friday, Saturday. That's exciting. And then, there's just so many questions. Obviously, 1 playoff spot left. The 2 series spots left. Seeding. Will the Whips sit anybody? Does anybody else sit anybody? Especially with teams like Water Dogs, Archers. If Archers are beating the Dogs late in the game, are they pumping the score or are they holding it? Thinking about the outcome of the Archers game, which is after theirs, I believe.
Archers and Water Dogs are the nightcap on Saturday. So they will be... they'll know what Chrome's score differential is going into their game because Chrome plays before them.
Well, I'm thinking more about Atlas.
Yeah. The Atlas Chaos game is the last game of the weekend, so...
Do they pump in terms of keeping themselves in front of Atlas, or...
right now they're +8 on Atlas, so that helps just in terms of going into the weekend. But I think Archers have been the one team this year that are not afraid to score. They will put up points late. They will score on you late. And they don't give a shit because they know score differential matters, and I like that about Coach Bates.
It's a fair point.
They have not held back when it comes to scoring goals in the final 4 minutes of a game. They will go at you, they will score, and they will make sure that they are in control of their own destiny when it comes to their score differential.
And can the Redwoods win this week?
I hope so. I'd like a 500 season after predicting them to go 8-2.
But now, it's hard, right? Because Chrome's going to come out and play.
Yep. No Eddie Glazner. Arden Cohen's questionable.
They got a 2 seed on the line with an Archers team breathing down their necks. A loss pretty much solidifies it. they're at least a 3 seed or lower.
Yep.
Meanwhile, we really have no reason to win. If we're being honest here. Even a win is a stretch at moving up the ladder.
It's tough. I'm looking at our predictions right now from the preseason.
We're off on like all of them.
Not too bad, though. Redwoods was easily our worst.
Yeah.
Chrome, we both had it 5-5.
They're what, 6-3 right now?
They're 6-3 right now. Cannons, we were way off. We both had them at 4-6. Chaos, we were off. You had them at 7-3. I had them at 6-4. Whips, we were way off. We both had them at 6-4. Woods, we both had at 8-2. Archers, we both had at 7-3. They could finish 6-4. Atlas, you had at 8-2. That was looking good pre All-Star break.
Yeah, I was looking fantastic.
I have them at 6-4.
Hey, look at you.
Hey, and we both had Water Dogs at 7-3.
That ain't gonna hit.
Nope, we were close.
No,
They could finish 6-4
they're not going to.
if they beat Archers.
No. No.
I mean, this is kind of just a weekend for a lot of teams, and by a lot, I mean Whips. I mean Archers, Water Dogs, Chrome, and Redwoods. The playoff teams right now.
Atlas.
Just stay healthy. Just stay healthy.
Yes.
Chaos and Cannons, y'all gotta turn that thing on. That's the biggest thing. It's just seeing what happens in those games. Do Whip Snakes get petty and keep Chaos out of the playoffs? And just let Cannons kind of have a little fun? Get a little revenge on Chaos for last year in the championship game because they play before them. And then Chaos, like, I don't know what it's going to take for them to pull out a dub against Atlas because they're also fighting for playoff positioning. But if you're Atlas, you got to try and stay as healthy as possible going into the postseason and potentially the championship series.
What does Chaos do if Whips throw the game? Should they just forfeit and not come out? No cap, as a coach, I would 1,000% do that. I'd be like, oh, y'all want to play that game? For sure.
You know what else is tough for Chaos right now? Injury report came out today. Reigning MVP is questionable.
He'll play.
Do we see Austin caught
No.
if the game gets out of hand?
Maybe if it gets out of hand, yes. If it gets out of hand, yes, he'll go in. But I think Blaze will start.
I would also say if Atlas Chaos was the early game, we definitely would see Austin caught. No matter what. But that's not the case.
All right.
Seattle's going to be fun. Do you think the city of Seattle, Deej, I know they got a lot of rain, so do you think they got a lot of ducks?
They might got some ducks.
It's time to feed some ducks
They might got some ducks.
and get into our PLL Seattle Picks of the Week, powered by our friends over at Pickup. You guys can go to playpickup.com, start playing the hottest headlines in sports, rack up points on your fan profiles, cash them in for prizes on the Pickup Marketplace. That's playpickup.com. 4 matchups, 1 final regular season weekend, and a Pick'em regular season title on the line. Deej, Chrome Redwoods kick things off. Are you picking with your heart? Are you picking with your gut? Or are you picking with both?
All gut. Chrome. I don't like the idea of Eddie not playing. Arden's questionable, so even if he plays, he's not 100%. Their attack line has been absolutely unreal this year. Nick Turn is second in the league in points as a rookie. Logan isn't too far behind him, and Dylan Malloy's had his best pro year in some time now. So, I mean, and you're adding that on top of everything they have, up top with the mids. Our defense having the troubles it's had this year on top of being injured, I'll take Chrome, regardless of what we have at the X or on the offensive side.
I'm going Chrome as well. Don't tell anybody.
They gonna hear.
That's why I'm whispering.
They still gonna hear you.
They gonna have to turn it up to like 120.
What you gonna turn this part all the way down?
Yep, I'm gonna mute it.
And what you gonna do on the picks graphic?
It's gonna be blacklight. Nah, I'm going Chrome for pretty much the same reasons you said. Plus, I think they want to lock in that 2 seed and kind of just be in control of playing either Chaos or Cannons in the postseason. So give me Chrome to get the dub. Because, like you said, it honestly doesn't really matter for Redwoods to win this game.
No, they're going to be the 6th seed regardless. So you're just hoping for some jumble up top to get the best possible matchup.
Unless they're playing for that 0.01% to get into the championship series.
They need a whole lot of help.
Not the ha.
Yeah.
Archer's Water Dogs hopefully playing in the best aesthetically pleasing on the eye jersey matchup in the PLL. The orange Archer's jersey and the dark purple Water Dogs jersey is just so beautiful to watch. They go at it. A lot of playoff positioning will be determined in this game. A bid to the championship series will probably be on the line in this game as well. How do you see this one playing out between the Bows and the Dogs?
Bows up, baby.
I'm dead. I can't believe you just did that.
There's nothing else to say about it. Straight people's elbow in these hoes.
The only thing to say about it is when you got them dogs in your front yard, just know they going hard. Bing, bong, give me the Water Dogs. Simple fact here. Biggest reason I'm taking them. No matter if it's Tucci Mane or if it's the Wiz, give me either one of those guys right now over Justin Inacio.
Don't forget what our boy Diggs said about them Archers, though.
You know I have a soft spot for the Archers in my heart.
I'm just saying, they can create their own shots. They don't need no face-off.
I'm just saying, that rope unit for the Water Dogs type nice.
Hey, I hear you. TD, who hasn't even had a great year, kind of picked them apart. And them wings for the Archers right now, they playing like they steak dinners depending on how many ground balls they pick up off the wing.
Brownie's back this week, though, potentially.
Hey.
I like that.
You saw how that Archers offense played last week.
I like the Dogs.
You can take them. That's fine. But like I said, bows up.
Whips Cannons on Sunday, 3 p.m. The Whips rest anybody, Deech? Are the Cannons going to be gifted an opportunity in this one?
Dog, this is so hard to pick.
It's so difficult.
And it's so hard to pick because, like, I'm actually trying. because I'm trying to at least get back to 500 here. So I'm trying to be smart about this and how I do things. And it's just like, who do they sit and for who? They're not gonna sit Zed. If they sit Rambo, it'd be for Keegan Khan. But I mean, homie's been balling, so like, I don't know how much of a step down that is. No disrespect to Matt, but like,
And Matt's been balling too.
yeah. So like, I mean, they're kind of loaded all around, and like, they don't really have anybody to sit people for.
Nope.
Like,
only real like
Jackson
sitting
Reed.
option is KB.
Sure. For Brian Phipps, or sitting one of the middies for Jackson Reed.
Mm-hmm.
That's like it. I don't see anything else. Maybe Jake Carlson getting a seat again for Keegan Khan, so that they can play a midi.
Which I don't know if they will, because to me at least, seeing Jay play over the past, what's it been, like 2 weeks that he's been back, that just tells me Jay Carlson's playing in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think Jay's going to play in the playoffs. But like we both mentioned, this game literally has no effect on Whip's playoffs. They're 1 seed, their championship series. They know what's going on. Like, you don't want to risk injury. Wouldn't be surprised to see an older guy like Jay be the one to take a seat. Maybe Earhart takes a seat just because he's been battling some injuries this year. No reason to necessarily have him play. Colin Squires could probably take all the reps by himself. Shout out to the homie. But like, I mean, I don't know how much they're going to be on defense. And I mean, you know, there's a couple other. I think there's another poll they have too that can take some swap reps with him. So maybe Earhart takes a seat, and maybe Jay Carlson. But
I'm gonna take a seat by taking the whips.
Yeah, I say I'll still take the whips, and I don't know if anybody's gonna sit regardless.
Yeah. Last matchup. Atlas Chaos rounding out the regular season. I don't know who's going to win. I think Chaos will get into the playoffs no matter what. I'm going to take on a whim, simply because of the mathing that hungry dogs run faster. I'm going to take Chaos to get a win after seeing Cannons lose to Whips, and Atlas kind of in this funk still. I'm going to take Chaos to win a close game and squeak into the playoffs.
Dang, you going for that wild 2-2 week while I cop this 4-0 off the back of the Bulls? Sounds good to me. Sounds good to me. Do your thing, boss man. That might even tie us. I like the way it sounds. I like the way it sounds.
I'm going to pull up the standings just for the people right now.
I know I'm not doing well. Can we just get back to NLL? I was a beast over there.
I said we got to just flip-flop.
I need my guys back.
It's funny that, like, I was more, like, privy to box in terms of my lacrosse upbringing, and you're more of a field guy, and our picks are the complete opposite.
Literally the complete opposite. That's why I won't bet, because I know too much about sports. And I'd be like, yeah. And that shit would be like, no.
Let's see here. Right now, I'm sitting at 19-17 on the season. And Deej, you are sitting at 16-20. So you have to go 4-0 to get to 500.
And
if I go 2-2, I'll be at 500, and then the playoffs will determine everything. What a time to be! We know picks. We know picks. That's all.
All I'm gonna say is it's gonna be real wild if I go 4-0 this week.
Yes,
because we were in this same scenario, NLL last week.
Yeah,
we were very close to being 500.
Those are your PLL Seattle picks of the week, powered by Pickup. Let's get into the madness. NLL free agency has been absolutely buck wild, batshit, unbelievably crazy.
Just bananas.
It all got started at midnight on August 15th. And these are some of the signings we had on those days that just stand out to us. Panther City re-signed Phil Caputo to a 2-year deal. The Philadelphia Wings re-signed Ian Lord to a 2-year deal. The Halifax Thunderbirds re-signed the homie Luke Magnan to a 2-year deal. Cody Jamieson signed the franchise tag with Halifax. Jordan McIntosh got a new 3-year deal with the Georgia Swarm. Curtis Dixon was offered the franchise tag. We'll get into the boy in just a bit. Bryce Sweeting and Sam LaRue are back with Buffalo. The Albany Firewolves offered Joe Resitardis the franchise tag. Those were some of the moves made there. And then we rolled into day one of free agency, where the homie, and he has said that he is down to come back on the show, Brett Manny, signed a 1-year deal with the Albany Firewolves. Logan Wisnauskas signs a 1-year deal with the Colorado Mammoth. The Halifax Thunderbirds are bringing Aaron Bold back on a 1-year deal. Deej, your New York Riptide put in the work on day one of free agency. Damon Edwards, Leo Storos back on 1-year deals. Goa Abrams and Jay Thornbert back on 2-year deals. And the one move that we weren't sure what was going to happen, but one of the biggest deals I can remember in terms of year length, Connor Kiernan gets a 5-year deal with the New York Riptide. Fantastic for the boy. Shout out for a fantastic season, earning the bag. Gets a 5-year deal with the New York Riptide. The San Diego Seals are bringing the milk out west. They signed Connor Farrell to a 1-year deal. We also had Mike Mallory going to the Saskatchewan Rush on a 1-year deal. The Vancouver Warriors bringing back Tyler Codron and Justin Salt on 1-year deals. And Riley Lowen and Brett Midsky on 2-year deals. Plus a few other moves here and there were made, but those were some of the big names that stand out. And then we moved to the next day of free agency, where Joe Resitardis has declined the franchise tag from Albany, and he's going to Philadelphia. It's not official on the waiver wire transaction sheet yet, but Joe Resitardis, according to the NLL Twitter account and the Philadelphia Wings Twitter account, has signed a 3-year deal with the Philadelphia Wings, and according to Joe Resitardis' Instagram account, he has signed a 3-year deal with the Philadelphia Wings. So Joe Resitardis, welcome to Philadelphia, brother. I can't wait to be around you all season, but we're going to get into some more moves in just a second before we recap all the madness that happened on August 16th. Keegan Khan is going to Colorado on a 1-year deal. Mike Manley is going to the Georgia Swarm on a 2-year deal. Isaiah Davis-Allen is back for 2 more years with the Philadelphia Wings. Dane Doby is back with the San Diego Seals on a 1-year deal. Corey Small, the boy, is going to Toronto on a 1-year deal. And the boy, the Mad Hatter, Connor Robinson, inks a 3-year deal with the Colorado Mammoth as well. Dalton Sulver's going back to Buffalo on a 3-year agreement. Wild antics in free agency. Also, shout out to John Phillips. Didn't even realize he was following us on the Twitter machine. He signs a 1-year deal with the Las Vegas Desert Dogs.
All I got to say is, that's not all I got to say. First thing I got to say.
You're the realist?
Sure. Nah, but Joe Resitardis is not a Philadelphia Wing. I'm all about the books. I don't care what social media say. I don't care what you say.
If the league Twitter account, if the league is tweeting about it, it's official.
What you say? It ain't in that what? That transaction wire.
I think somebody just forgot to type it in.
Nah, bro, it just ain't. It ain't there.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh. I just highlighted and it popped up. They pulling blacklight antics.
You shut up. Anyway, that's like me going and let me think about this for a I need
Yeah,
to
you
go.
ain't got nothing to compare
Oh,
it to.
man. That's like me going and saying, yeah, this my car, this my insurance, and this my driver's license. But they're like, and there's a license plate on it, but there's like, license plate isn't in the system.
Yeah.
Like, buddy, that's my car, and I drive it, and I have a license, but that car's not legal because it's not in the system. So sure, he's a wing. Y'all can say that. He can say that, but it ain't legal till it's in the system.
Pretty sure it's legal.
No,
But
it's not legal till it's in the system.
you know what is in the system? Curtis Dixon declining the franchise tag from the Calgary Roughnecks. Jackson Subak signs a 2-year deal with Las Vegas. Panther City has signed the following players to 2-year deals. Connor Sellers, Liam Burns, Adam Perrone, Rob King, and Tyler Burton. Jake McNabb and Ryan McCrory are going to Rochester on 2-year deals. Dan Littner is going to Saskatchewan on a 2-year deal. The boy Logan Schuss and Brody Harris agree to 1-year deals with Vancouver. And we're still not done with all the moves that have happened. We've got Dan Dawson, Dangerous Dan, going back to Toronto on a 1-year deal. The Philadelphia Wings have signed Chad Tutton from the Georgia Swarm to a 2-year deal. Your New York Riptide putting in more work today, Deej. Dan Lomas, the boy, friend of the program, shout out Back of the Bird, gets a 3-year deal with the New York Riptide. Your New York Riptide have also signed Dylan Malloy to a 1-year deal. The New York Riptide have also signed Will Johnston and Kevin Brownell to 2-year deals. The Las Vegas Desert Dogs, I like this signing a lot, have signed Garrett McIntosh to a 1-year deal. The Halifax Thunderbirds signed Drew Hutchison and Keelan Pylon to 1-year deals. The Colorado Mammoth have signed Asher Knowlton to a 1-year deal. Luke Van Scheppen is going to Albany on a 1-year deal. Curtis Conley's going to Albany on a 2-year deal. And the Buffalo Bandits have signed Matt Spanger to a 2-year deal. Deej, NLL free agency has been wild, and I haven't even announced the most emotional move of free agency as it was announced yesterday.
Do you want your time?
The boy,
Do you want your time?
the longtime supporter, always in our corner, longtime Philadelphia Wing.
This is a private moment.
It's okay.
You sure?
It's okay.
This is pretty private. I think you should.
It's okay. Kevin Crowley announced that he will not be coming back to Philadelphia, and my heart shattered. Yes, it sounds dumb. It sounds childish. But when you're around a team from their inception of returning, like I have with the Wings, when you've spent countless hours around a human during game time and off the floor time that I've been so fortunate enough to do with Kevin Crowley, it stings. It hurts. It's like one of your friends moving away. Kevin's always treated me like one of the boys. Press conferences with Kev will forever be memorable to me. He's always supported everything we've done with Underground, with Outside the Box. He celebrated Game 3 of Sixers Raptors with me and Alex at Xfinity Live. Me, him, Alex, and Pat Resch. It was an electric time. Kevin's just one of those guys that even though he was a pro athlete in our city, he just felt like you were on the same level as him. And I'm forever thankful and grateful for the way that he treated me, treated our entire crew during his time here. Was always the best of the best. I remember the day he got traded back here from New England and the day that he signed his contract at the Flyer skate zone at practice. I was there. It was wild to kind of just see like an actual like contract signing go down right before your eyes. Kevin loves Philadelphia. It's his second home. I understand it's like later on in his career. There's opportunities on the horizon for him, allegedly, from what I've been told. And no matter where Kevin Crowley goes, I'll be a fucking massive fan of him. I'll be a massive fan in whatever he does post-career. He's just an incredible person, and it sucks that he's not going to be at the Wells Fargo Center in 2022-2023 wearing that number 21 in a Wings uniform. But I'm forever thankful and forever grateful for Kevin.
Yeah, it's interesting whenever a guy like this magnitude leaves the team. You know, he was there before the Wings left. He was there after they left, or, you know, now that they've come back. So many Wings fans know the name Kevin Crowley. When they think of number 21, they think of Kevin Crowley. There's so many moments, goals, hits, assists. Like, there's just so many things they can bring up that have him in mind. And then you bring up his personality of just being in the city after games, before games. All of that matters. And then, you know, that person leaves. It leaves a hole, you know, not only in the team, but just in the atmosphere of the team. You know, there's going to be a hole in the locker room, in the stadium, in the city. Like, most people won't notice it, right away, but eventually they will. They'll be like, man, I miss Kevin. Sucks. Yeah. But that's just how sports work. You know, guys move on in free agency, guys retire, guys get traded. It's part of the game. You know, it sucks, but the Wings will move on. Kevin will move on. The NLL will be amazing, and we'll all just have these memories of Kevin in a Wings jersey.
And it's one of those things where there's not many moments, I don't know if you've had many of them, where an athlete on a team you root for, you know, I cover, but, you know, you all know I'm a Wings fan, where a player leaves a team after being there for such a long time and then goes to another team. It, like, you get like that sinking feeling in your chest. Oddly enough, I got that when I saw Kevin's tweet. You know, seeing that happen, and I think it's more so created out of just the relationship I've been able to build with Kevin over the last, 4 years since he came back in 2018. But, like, there's very few times, like, when Brian Dawkins left the Eagles, I got that. I swore I would never watch football again when Brian Dawkins left the Eagles. That's how, like, upset I was that my idol in the football world was leaving my favorite team. Kevin is, like, one of those guys that, it, like, here's the magnitude of Kevin Crowley for people who don't know really from just, like, an inside perspective of the Philadelphia area. Like, Kevin would be one of those athletes that goes on the Preston and Steve morning show, which is the biggest morning radio show in the tri-state area. And that's where all the big name comics go when they're in Philadelphia to go promote their show. Like, Preston Steve is almost a global thing. They got inducted into the Radio Hall of Fame this year. Kevin Crowley would be consistently on the Preston and Steve show. To get a pro lacrosse player on a radio show of that magnitude that's not a sports radio station, that's fucking massive. And for Kevin to kind of be a mainstay on that show during Wings season, he'd be there doing radio hits and stuff. I think that just shows the magnitude of player, personality, and person that Kevin Crowley is in the city of Philadelphia. His tweet and his Instagram posts were, right at the heartstrings. The Wings put out a video, thank you Big Cat video today. It just sucks that it's the end of the Kevin Crowley era. We'll see what else happens. Kyle Matisse declined the franchise tag for the Wings as well. So we'll see what happens with that situation. It just certainly seems like Paul Day is collecting as many Peterborough Lakers as possible. Because Joe Resitardis has played for Peterborough. Chad Tutton has played for Peterborough. A lot of the free agent moves, a lot of the trades and everything revolve around guys that Paul Day has familiarity with the Peterborough Lakers. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I don't know. It remains to be seen. But right now, the offense doesn't look as deep as it was last year in my book. Yes, you bring in Joe Resitardis, allegedly, on a 3-year deal. MVP runner-up. He was your MVP for the longest time. Led the league in goal scoring. He's on a 3-year deal. You now have 3 American guys on that offense with Blaze, with Rambo, with Joe. KJ47 is back. Sam LeClaire is back. And then Ben McIntosh. So those are your 6 right now in terms of forwards for the Wings. But, Corey Small's now gone, who was a huge proponent on the power play. Kevin Crowley's now gone, who was a franchise icon. And prolific goal scorer, prolific passer. Kyle Matisse is kind of in limbo right now. Corey Vitarelli is a bit older. Don't know if he'll be back. There's a lot of question marks right now on this Wings offense. And I don't know if it's going to potentially get addressed in the draft as well with some of these moves. Obviously, Jackson Subak's gone now, too, with Vegas after he got taken in the expansion draft. A lot of questions surrounding this Wings team, and I'm hoping some answers get answered this weekend. But NLL free agency has been the craziest I can remember it since I've been covering the NLL. That's for damn sure.
I literally can't keep up with it. I mean, between scrolling past every couple tweets being someone else moving or declining something or accepting something, and then you sending me 1,000 tweets a day of someone going somewhere, I'm like, I can't do this. I'm too busy of a person to have this kind of free agency going on. Like, this league isn't big enough for this. Like, this free agency is on par or above the magnitude of NBA and NFL free agencies have been.
It's very NBA free agency to me.
It is so bonkers. Like, I think it's been better than NBA free agency this year. Like,
yes,
already, and like it's nowhere near done. And like, obviously, like NBA free agency isn't done, but most of the big names have already signed. Like, with this, it's like, dude, really? Like, I think we've been talking about San Diego, and I'm like, how in the hell do they have this much money? Like, they're offering everybody. Like,
a lot of rumors swirling around the Seals right now.
So it's just crazy.
This is from a source who has a source who has a source. Allegedly, 2 big names, both friends of the program, are targets of the San Diego Seals, which I think one makes more sense than the other, just in terms of past teammate relationships. But with those 2 names being linked there, I'm not going to say anything. Alleged. This is all alleged.
Yep.
Kind of makes me think Brett Hickey's on the move. He's got to be going somewhere.
Might be.
If I'm Las Vegas, I'm saying, hi, Brett Hickey. Come be our franchise face, along with Charlie Bertrand. Or I'm saying, hey, Brett Hickey, come back to Philadelphia.
I want to see who if Rochester goes after anyone else big.
I like the McNabb signing.
Yes.
I think that's
nice.
massive. Championship resume there coming from Colorado. I like that move a lot. Trying to think of who's Panther City's really re-signed their own guys. Kyle Rubish is still out there. So that prediction for us is still out there. Trying to think of who else big name free agent wise. I mean, obviously the big names Curtis Dixon, Kevin Crowley are still free agents at this time. It's going to be a wild weekend. That's for damn sure. Between PLL games, NLL free agency, I'm going to get carpal tunnel, and my voice is going to be gone. And that's why I'm going to pass this over to Deej, because he's been able to actually watch these things. And we'll keep you guys up to date with NLL free agency and everything. Let us know if you want Twitter Spaces to just kind of vent your own thoughts, all that good stuff. At OTB Laxpot on Twitter. But Deej, you've been watching the World Lacrosse Men's U21 Championships. You've been keeping me up to date with this while it's been going on. I've seen some of the highlights across the board. There's a few guys that I want to shake their hands because they are just absolute menaces to the game of lacrosse in the best way possible. How has the U21 Championships been treating you?
Firstly, Puerto Rico's white jerseys might be the best jerseys in the tournament. I mean, just the basic.
I haven't seen them. Like, I saw you tweet about them with Brian, but I have not seen them across my timeline at all, which is weird.
I mean, no one's really like tweeted or like posted any like pictures of any of the jerseys or anything, but like I like them a lot. They were just
There's one jersey that I've seen that
they were plain white, and then it had just like blue trim, and then I think it had one more blue stripe above that. And then there was a blue trim around the edge of the shorts. And then the numbers and letters were all red. Puerto Rico, and then the numbers. I was like, that's perfect. Like, it's so clean, very simplistic, but like the drip is there. Like,
shout out to my Boricuas.
But the helmet, like Brian said, was where it was kind of left to be desired. Like, I feel like they could have done a little more with the helmet in terms of mohawk and using the colors a little bit more. It was kind of very basic white, but I thought they had the best jerseys, and then I thought Canada had the best helmets between them and the Hundy and Shoney. Like, the black helmets, they look
the
good.
Blackout
like,
jerseys, bro.
That too. The blackout jerseys from the Hundy and Shoney were great as well. But like, we expect that the purple, yellow, and black go so well together. We know what to expect with that. So like, I was putting them in their own tier, own echelon. Didn't even need to be questioned. But as far as the play has been, I mean, phenomenal from, teams like England and Japan and Ireland, those kind of teams where it's like, okay, yeah, they're not going to be on the level of a Australia, Canada, America, Haudenosaunee, but like, they came out to play. There was a lot of, you could see them having fun. You could see the energy. You could see the passion. You could see the competitiveness. It's always fun watching these kind of games because you're not just playing the sport. You're not just having fun. You're not just trying to win a championship. You're representing your country. And you can tell that every kid out there, every man, I should say, honestly, every man out there was excited and honored to wear his country's colors and play for his country. That's my favorite thing about watching this. It's clear as day kind of the disparity between what countries have lacrosse more often or have had it longer than others. But I mean, like I said, everybody's came out and put out a fight. Games have been everywhere. I mean, 12-11 games, overtime games, 8-11 games to 16-1 games, 19-2 games. Like, they're literally everywhere. Like, today, Canada smacked up on Australia. I think it was 19-1, I think was the final score. Like, that's unreal. And Australia didn't score until 4 minutes left to go in the fourth. And it was off of a broken play where they turned the goalie over and there was no one in net, and they were able to get one. Like, that's the kind of lacrosse we're watching. And it's crazy to think that America, Haudenosaunee, Canada are out here smacking teams at this age 20-2, 17-1, like 19-1. Like, that is crazy. But that's the level these guys are playing at. Like, championship game is Saturday. Tomorrow, Saturday. Keep forgetting it's kind of Thursday-ish. Saturday, and I mean it's going to be Canada, United States, who neither one of these teams have had a close game other than when they played themselves at the beginning of the tournament in pool play. That was the closest it's been for either of these teams. Both of these teams are winning by 15 plus every game. It's going to be a blockbuster. You got Australia and Haudenosaunee playing for a third place game. Also think that one's going to be great. I believe that one's also Saturday. And then everybody else, in the consolation bracket and filling out the rest of the games. So I'm excited just kind of see how the rest of this plays out if Canada gets the best of USA again, because they do it a lot. I don't think they do it in this tournament, though, which is weird. I think as long as they've had this age bracket, which they moved like the U20 up to U21 this year because of COVID and everything, I think America's like 8-0 since they've started this age bracket. So it's weird they win this one and then it gets to like actual like international play and Canada just runs. Like, I don't know if it's because they're pulling Brody Merrill and all of his
Hill Academy kids.
His Hill Academy kids that he's coached and got more ground balls than. Did you see that tweet?
Oh my god!
Where Brody Merrill has more ground balls than all the guys he's coached, like
That's
combined.
insane.
That one, he's played that long, and two, he's coached that many guys that they have 630 ground balls combined in the pros. But yeah, it's exciting to see Canada, United States, Haudenosaunee, one just rip these guys to shreds, and then play each other and have competitive games. But then also see everybody else get out there and compete with each other, have a good time, smiles on their faces, representing their countries. Makes me wonder, where was the U21s at when I was playing? Not like I would have made it, but I
have a new favorite U21 player.
I'm part Irish or something, right? Like I can get on one of them teams.
You stayed at my house for a decent number of hours. I think that works.
Yes. What does that make me? Part Guido or something?
Yeah.
Let's
And
do it.
Puerto Rican by proxy and
Yes. Hey, like I said, no white jerseys. I'm cool with it. Just let me design the helmet, coach. Also, I forgot about the gloves. There were a lot of drippy gloves out too. Australia, I thought probably had the best gloves. They had kind of that drip dye kind of look where it was white with the yellow lettering, but it faded into green. Looked just so good. But like everybody had good gloves. I thought the gear was done very well, other than the plain helmets all around. I thought helmets were pretty plain, but I also get it. You're making helmets for 100-some guys. You're probably not going to go that hard.
I have a new player that I'm investing in. He's officially a hashtag KB's guy. Rowasanki's Barnes. That boy type nice. That goal he scored behind the back, disgusting. He stung that thing. Officially getting the KB seal of investment. He's one of my guys. I will be doing whatever it takes to follow his career. He's on my squad.
It's Brandon Avilas for me. Man's the part that blows my mind about it is he's playing mostly an offensive midfield role for this Puerto Rico team, but plays mostly D mid for his college team. I believe it's Syracuse, but hello.
Yeah, I think he's Syracuse.
Let this man be more of a two-way. Give him the green light and let him do what he wants to do in the offensive end because the skill is absolutely there. He has been pretty much Puerto Rico's go-to guy on that side of the ball. I think he's played phenomenal in the tournament. Really excited to see kind of if he gets the green light going into college, but definitely a guy I like. He's impressed me. And once again, looked good in those white jerseys.
When these guys get home from Ireland, we need to find a way to get both of them on this show. Yes. Hashtag OTB guys right there. They are the official U21 OTB guys. Right there. I saw that.
Also, Brennan O'Neill has been...
I mean, come on. We've known that since he was born.
And to know he's going back to school. And the crazy part is, I want to know how guys feel. Like, I have so many questions about Connor Schellenberger.
Mm-hmm.
How do all the professional guys, how are they going to feel playing with this kid who is about to go into his junior year of college? But I guess at that point, he just finished his junior year of college. How do guys like Brennan O'Neill and, guys like that feel about Connor going and playing on the real national team? Like, that's huge, dude. Like, Brennan's getting back from Ireland. Like, oh yeah, just had a great time at U21s. This, and that. We got, and Connor's like, yo, yeah, I'm getting ready to fly out to so and so because I got internationals coming up. I got real world championships coming up. Like,
I'm in the big leagues, boy.
Right, holla at me, holla at me,
Holla at ya, boy.
Like, ain't you going into your 5th year or whatever, bro? And you still playing U21s? I ain't trying to hear it, dog. I'm the real man here. They called me early.
Y'all ain't got that call up yet? You ain't get the call to the big leagues?
You still in them farm systems, huh?
Oh, you still down in AAA? You can't hit them fringe MLB players?
Playing the house league.
You still playing wall ball in your backyard, bro?
Hey, whoa. Don't disrespect the backyard wall ball players.
Hey, I'm just saying.
Them real lacrosse men.
I'm not saying they're not.
Where your wall ball at?
Bro, do it look like I got money for a wall to invest in?
You barely know how to use your stick.
I barely know how to pick up a stick. And I'm talking about pickup sticks.
It is funny because, like, you have a pretty legit stick.
Yeah. I got 2 of them things. I got one in my whip, too.
I would be honest with you. If I didn't have to check it into my luggage, I'd steal one. I'd take it right on the plane with me. Somebody nabbed my short stick at a tournament.
Terrible.
So I need to go get a new one, but yeah.
I got an Under Armour one in the whip.
Like I said, I can't take it on the plane. I don't know though. You might be stickless. I might throw that joint in my bag.
Good thing I got hiding places.
Looks around. I mean, I'm gonna find it.
What, you gonna bring a fucking radar detector?
Nah. Oh, that's what I forgot to tell the people. I forgot to tell you too. Almost got into a fight on Monday.
Hello?
Dog. Pull up to practice. Homie's out there with a metal detector, which is what I would bring to find a stick. And he's out there with the metal detector. And girls coach is there. She goes up to him and she's like, hey, like, we're going to have to ask you to leave because we have the field reserved for practice. We're going to have hard balls, flying around. Don't want you to get hit. He goes, I ain't worried about no hard balls. I was in Iraq. So she just like turns and like looks at me and walks away. He like comes over and she's like telling me what's going on. And all of a sudden he walks up and he's like, who the fuck are you to tell me I can't be over here? And I was like, whoa. I was like, I know you're not talking to her like that. And I was like, I haven't said anything, so you can't be talking to me yet. And he's like, yeah, but I don't know who the fuck y'all think y'all are, but like, I'm allowed to be here. And I was like, sir, you're not going to disrespect a woman in front of me like that. And second, we're coaches who have the field reserve, and we're absolutely allowed to tell you to leave in terms of safety of our players.
Right.
And he's like, well, I can disrespect whoever the fuck I want. And I was like, well, I don't care who you really disrespect. You can disrespect me, but you're not going to disrespect her. Not in front of me. I was like, that's a woman, and you need to apologize. Sets his metal detector down and goes, are you going to make me? And I was like, I had to take a deep breath, and I was like, I'm not going to do this in front of my players. There are 2 of them watching. So I was like, I'm not going to do this in front of my players. I was like, you know
they were over there like, let's go, coach, let's go.
Oh, yeah, they were waiting for it. They were waiting for it. And I'm just like, I'm not going to do this.
They were ready to jump in.
They They probably would have.
They want to put me in, coach. I'm ready to play.
Tag me in, coach. Tag me in.
Today.
So I'm like, yeah, dude. Like, no. Like, I'm not doing this in front of my players. Like, I'm setting a good example. Like, you don't always handle things like this. Like, you're just out of line. I need you to apologize. Like, you haven't really done anything wrong. We just, you're just not allowed to be here on the field while we're here. And you disrespected her. I need you to apologize, and we're all set. So, he's like, you know what? You're right. Like, just long day, emotions ran higher, whatever, I'm sorry. Shook my hand, shook her hands. I'm sorry, whatever, left. And like, we were just like, he just left me. Like, we were just looking at each other like, what the fuck? And like, so like we move on with practice and he comes back like 45 minutes later. And I'm like,
y'all hear this?
The fuck? Could
y'all hear this?
The fuck could this
y'all
dude
hear that?
Possibly want? What could he possibly want? And then he's like, it's just been bothering me so much. Like, I just want to come back and apologize again. Like, that's not really like me. Like, I don't know what happened, but yeah, man, like, I was just really wrong. And I was like, dude, it's fine. He's like, yeah, man, like, thank you so much for like taking the higher road and like, being that way and all that. Like, it definitely was what I needed. And just like, dude, you're good. Just, have a good night. Have a good night and stay safe, man. Please get away from me.
Good grief.
But like, it's funny because he walked away and I went, I need to go to the gym. Because like, dog, he stepped to me. Like, he was no more than a foot away.
Nah, that's a wrap.
Like genuinely, if my players were not there, I wouldn't have thought twice about swinging because he invaded my personal space. Like, but he also, like, I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, there's no way he would have stepped to me if I didn't look like I would blow away in the wind. I was like, I need to put some weight on. So homie's like, oh, I can't mess with him. Homie felt so confident. Like, I'm telling you, like, we were just having a normal conversation. He did have a little bit of a aggression and like pitch in his voice, like, raised voice at first. But then, like,
he had a little bit of that dog in him.
Just a little bit,
it was like a chihuahua.
More of him showing, like, like, I'm not afraid of y'all. You're not going to make me move just because you said so. But then, like, I, like, challenged him. And he, like, challenged him. Because I literally just was like, you're not going to disrespect the woman. You need to apologize. He felt challenged.
Good grief.
So, he goes and sets it down. And that's when he gets big. And he's like, you going to fucking make me? Like, voice gets deep. And he gets, like, super aggressive. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
That's
I was like, this is supposed to be a normal Monday. I had a good day at work. Things are going well. A couple boys are showing up for some work.
That's wild. What's going on. That's insane.
I was like, I need to go to the gym. This is it. I am too small. Oh, man. Homie wouldn't have stepped to you like that. You got the beard. You buck. Man, bro would have been like, you know what? My bad. You're right. I'm sorry.
Bro, you just got to grow in a beard like DeAndre Swift's dad. He's the most intimidating man on the planet.
Man can hide a gun in his beard.
He can hide a whole country in his beard. What are we talking about? He's ferocious.
He gonna be like that scene in Everybody Hates Chris where Rochelle was just pulling stuff out of her purse. Gallon of milk. Skillet, cast iron skillet, toaster. Like, lady, driver's manual. What are you doing with all this in your purse? Man, it's just gonna be in his beard. Like, my son's contract, the new house we're about to buy when he leaves the bum ass Lions,
key to the city,
key to the city. All the Coney Island I want.
Go prep sign. Unreal. I think we end it there. Make sure you guys are following us on the socials at OTBLaxPod on Twitter, on Instagram. Follow DJ on Twitter at SCS_NextGreat. Follow me at KBIZZL311. Check out the website, undergroundsportsphiladelphia.com. For all of our written content. Subscribe to the podcast feed, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Leave those 5-star ratings and reviews on Apple and Spotify, of course. And subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Smash that like button. Click the bell icon so you don't miss a single episode of your favorite Underground Sports Philadelphia podcast in full video form. Shout out to our sponsors who make this show happen: Tomahawk Shades, Pickup, Kenwood Beer, and Bino Board. All of their information is linked in the show notes on audio and in the description on YouTube. This has been episode number 235 of the allegedly award-nominated, number 9 ranked on the Coach Shrek rankings chart, and viewable on YouTube, Outside the Box Podcast, part of the Underground Sports Philadelphia Podcast Network. For DJ, I'm KB, and until next week, when we will have the playoff bracket set and probably a gazillion more NLL free agency moves made, we are getting the heck out of here. Peace.